So, Michael Wolff is now touring the globe promoting his salacious new book, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House. Now, I've not read the book, I have no intention of reading the book, it doesn't really interest me for one, and Michael Wolff apparently has a bit of a reputation for playing fast and loose with the truth. Back in 1998, Wolff wrote a book called Burn Rate, which detailed the implosion of his own .com startup internet company. Many of the characters portrayed in the book say Wolff invented or changed quotes, and none of those quoted recalls Wolff taking notes or recording discussions. But Wolff claims that he did have notes and emails to back his claims, but he refused to release them. This evidence comes via a site called Brill's Content, which closed down in 2001. What you see here are snapshots from an archived page. Anyway, you've probably heard by now certain claims in Fire and Fury that are also dubious. For example, that President Trump didn't know who John Boehner was, even though he'd played golf with Boehner several times and had tweeted about Boehner in the past. Both Tony Blair and Wolff are calling each other liars over claims in the book about Blair's dealings with the Trump White House. Who to believe there is anyone's guess. But the issue that has currently gotten Wolff in trouble is the insinuation that Trump was having an affair with UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, a rumour Haley has called highly offensive and disgusting. This speculation was instigated after Wolff dropped hints on Bill Maher's Real Time back in January when he said he was absolutely sure Trump is having an affair. Just not sure enough to write about it in his book, but that discriminating readers would be able to figure it out by reading between the lines. It was then quickly figured out that the line referred to in the book was the following. The president had been spending a notable amount of private time with Haley on Air Force One and was seen to be grooming her for a national political future. Here's how Andrew Bolt reported it on his show.
Michael Wolff is the author of a huge new bestseller that trashes Donald Trump. It's based on gossip he picked up hanging around the White House. Gossip like his claim that Trump's having an affair right now with a woman that Wolff won't name.
Is it a woman thing?
Well, I didn't have the blue dress.
No, is it about a woman?
It is.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Oh, it's somebody he's fucking now.
It is.
Oh.
And it's,
who's he
you just have to read between the lines.
Uh-oh, we meant to beep that word out. I do apologise. Now, reading between the lines of Michael Wolff's book, it's actually clear that the woman he means is Nikki Haley, a former state governor, now US ambassador to the United Nations. Very impressive woman. Haley angrily denies the claim, so he says they're sexist, and Wolff this week admitted he's actually got no proof, like a lot of other claims in his book. And on the Today Show this morning, he claimed that he had no audio either, when Ben Fordham's questions got a little too hot.
Last week, however, you backflipped and said, I quote, I do not know if the president is having an affair. Do you owe the president and the First Lady an apology, Mr. Wolff?
I can't hear you.
Just last month, you said you were...
Now that's where Bolt's recording cuts out, so just in case I'm accused of selective editing, here's a slightly longer version.
You said during a TV interview just last month that you are absolutely sure that Donald Trump is currently having an affair while president behind the back of the First Lady. And I repeat, you said you were absolutely sure. Just last week, however, you backflipped and said, I quote, I do not know if the president is having an affair. Do you owe the president and the First Lady an apology, Mr. Wolff?
I can't hear you.
Just last month, you said you were absolutely sure that the president was having an affair, and now you say that he is not.
I'm not getting anything.
You're not hearing me, Mr. Wolff?
I'm not getting anything.
We were hearing each other well just before. You're not hearing me, Mr. Wolff?
Do you hear? I'm not.
Mr. Wolff was hearing me before, but he's not hearing me anymore. So it looks like the interview may be over. Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House, is out now, and he is about to take off on a speaking tour. So I think we will leave it there.
So Wolff was being interviewed from the UK, and of course it wouldn't be the first time that the sound cut out during an interview. However, since then a recording from the UK studio has, inconveniently for Wolff, come to light.
Some bad news for Michael Wolff, because when you actually listen to a tape of his audio at his end of the interview, you can clearly hear that he could hear every single word.
you are absolutely sure that Donald Trump is currently having an affair while president behind the back of the First Lady. And I repeat, you said you were absolutely sure.
Yeah, I can't.
Just last week, however, you backflipped and said, I quote, I do not know if the president is having an affair. Do you owe the president and the First Lady an apology, Mr. Wolff?
I can't hear you.
And again, for those who think this is a right-wing conservative conspiracy because it's on the Bolt Report, here's what they said on the Today Show.
And an interview on the Today Show this morning has ended very abruptly when the author of an explosive book about President Trump walked off. Michael Wolff appeared to be experiencing some audio issues when Ben questioned him over allegations he made in the book about Mr. Trump having an affair. Have a look.
I'm not hearing anything.
Mr. Wolff was hearing me before, but he's not hearing me.
I'm not hearing anything.
So it looks like the interview may be over. Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House, is out now, and he is about to take off on a speaking tour.
So Mr. Wolff, as you heard, is about to take the controversial book on a speaking tour. That appears to be the audio coming through the earpiece on Mr. Wolff's end.
He could hear me.
Which would suggest that he could hear you loud and clear.
Oh, wow. He didn't make the allegation in the book, just to clear up. Yeah. He made it in an interview about a month or so ago, and then 2 days ago backflipped on it, so I thought it was worthwhile asking the question, but
he took umbrage.
He decided to tell a porky pie about not being able to hear me. But anyway.
You might expect there'll be no questions on the speaking tour.
Great television. Oh, well. Thank you for your time, Mr. Wolff, once again.
Now, of course, this is unlikely to put a dent in sales of the book. Those suffering from Trump derangement syndrome who just want to get their daily 2 minutes of hate will continue to do so. But Democrats might want to pay attention to the effect this kind of unquestioning promotion of a dubious author is having on the general public.
You know, it's the media lying about Donald Trump that I reckon explains in part why he's now coming back in the polls. Many voters, quite rightly, no longer believe all the media's horror stories about him. And you know that the latest Rasmussen presidential poll, the only one that daily tracks the presidential's approval rating, shows that Trump's rate is now back up to 50%. That is 5 points higher than when Barack Obama was there at the same time of his presidency. The media hasn't told you that, has it?
No, it hasn't, but that is the state of political discourse today. Both sides talk about each other rather than to each other, and unfortunately that seems unlikely to change anytime soon. I'll see you next time.